everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you're new and here for the very first time, you are so welcome. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, debt and mortgage free and living a thrifty, frugal and money saving life on a super tight budget here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Wednesday we open our home and invite you in for a midweek money chat. It's a tough talk this week. Let's have a look at this week's topic. As the cost of living crisis rumbles on, and there is really no end in sight with this, the predictions are nothing's going to get better soon. So every single decision that we make with our incomes, with our budgets, with what we spend, with what we buy, with what we save, is so very, very crucially important. And at one stage in our lives, there may have been areas where we could overspend here, or we could make the wrong decision there, and we could pick ourselves up from that and maybe improve our situation. That is increasingly difficult. So today we're going to talk about the long game. We're going to talk about the getting it right consistently, because there are those bad decisions that we can make, and we know because we've made them in the past, and who knows, you may have made them too. But we know right now the bad decisions and the bad choices that we can make can really, really trip us up at the moment because things are so incredibly difficult. So we're going to look quite quickly today at 6 bad decisions or bad choices that you can make that can really, really derail your budget and your finances and make your situation a whole lot worse. And we definitely want things to be better, not worse. The decisions and choices that we make at any stage in our life around saving for retirement or paying into a pension is absolutely crucial. And I'm just going to put this out there because this isn't just my opinion, this would be a very well held opinion. It would be a very, very bad decision not to pay into your workplace pension if it exists. And it would be a very, very bad decision to not be putting money aside for your retirement, no matter how small that amount of money would be. And I know this because I've recently had a conversation with a couple of people who are in the later stages of life. They are actually in their 50s and they feel that they've left it too late. No, they haven't. They absolutely have not left it too late to buy into the workplace pension. They have not left it too late to be saving for retirement. It doesn't matter, even if you're in your late 50s. If you have nothing saved for your retirement in your late 50s, you are going to be working until you reach the age of the state pension or social security. You have no choice. So because you have no choice but to stay in the workplace, it is absolutely the right thing to do to put money into the workplace pension or a private pension, or whichever way your country has tax-free savings. So it is never, ever too late to start saving for your retirement. There are right and wrong decisions that we can all make about savings. And when I think back to when I wasn't saving, I would think to myself, oh, we haven't got enough money, we're really broke, we don't earn very much money. What's the point in the little bit of money that we could save? And so we didn't. And that's back in the past when we used to use credit cards. And then obviously we would pay them off, but we used to accumulate and pay off debt all the time. So let's talk now. Let's have this chat, all of us. Let's have a chat. Make yourself comfy and have a chat about this. About the right and the wrong decisions that we can make about savings. Even if you're just putting aside that little bit of money towards Christmas, or you're putting that little bit of money aside towards a holiday in the future, or a little bit of money aside to things that need replacing around the house, and you just keep tucking it away. Even if it's only £5, $5, €5 a week, it's money you otherwise wouldn't have saved. And the most important thing that we always suggest people have is an emergency fund. and whether that's 1 month's complete living expenses or $1,000, pounds or euros, or if you can make that up to 2,000, and you just keep working on that savings fund and keep saving it up. Yes, the emergencies will arise if you have no other savings at all, that you have to dip into that and then start again and build it up again. But it's a bad decision to put off saving because you think, well, I've got barely any money. And I know this from the Facebook group, and I know this from comments that I read all over the place in other budgeting groups as well, that so many people are not saving. It's a common fact that in countries like America, in countries like the UK, in countries like Australia as an example, there are more people without any savings at all than there are people with savings. So that conscious good choice to make regular savings. As an example, and I'll share with you, we take our income, which is our pension and our earnings from YouTube, and we take that and the after-tax amount and all of that, and we put aside 10% of that every month. That's not my money. It's not Mike's money. That's going into long-term savings. It's the choice that we make. But don't be the person who makes the bad choice. Even if you think to yourself, well, I've got hardly any money, it doesn't matter. There needs to be, even if it's only £1 or dollar or euros a week, it needs to be something that we set aside. Because even if you had that tiny amount of money, if something comes up, like you need a new pair of shoes because your shoes have just fallen apart, you've got it. So don't be the person who makes the bad choices, be the person who makes the good choice, and make sure, and please leave me a comment below. Do you do that? Have you changed? Have you become someone who takes a figure, whether it's 1%, 5% or 10%, every single week or month or bi-monthly, and you put that into savings? Share your successes with us. So let's talk about real, solid, good choices that we know we should be making. Now we know there is a bigger percentage of people who don't save than do save. We know there's a bigger percentage of people who are in debt than are not in debt. We also know there are a bigger percentage of people who do not have any form of budget, written budget, to the percentage of people who do. Now I know many of you have left the most encouraging comments. I asked in a community group chat the last couple of days, are you worse off or better off? And I expected people in the main to say the cost of living crisis has left me worse off. But actually people left the most encouraging comments, and I appreciate every single one of you who wrote this. And you said words along the lines of, I'm better off now because I'm budgeting. I'm better off now because I'm saving. I'm better off now because I've paid off my debts. I'm better off now because I've set up my sinking funds. And thank you to every single one of you who shared your successes. It was so encouraging, and I appreciate all of you. But let's talk about this. If you do not have a budget, you can't put it off any longer. Like I said at the beginning, this financial crisis that is rumbling on and on, the devaluation of currency, the increase in inflation, money's not worth what it was once worth, so everything is costing so much more money, isn't going to bounce back overnight. This is going to go on longer and longer. What if this goes on for another 5 years? And well, it could. I really hope I'm wrong on this one. I really do. But the predictions, they're not looking good, are they? So you cannot put off budgeting any longer. I don't care if you use a budgeting book. I don't care if you use a budgeting app. I don't care if you go to the pound store, the dollar store, and get yourself a notepad and some biros and do it that way. But you need to be tracking everything you spend, all the money coming in, all the money going out for your fixed bills, and all of your discretionary spending. And track it. Track every time you go to the supermarket and how much money I've got left. Because things are not getting, and you know it's the right choice. I don't need to tell you this, do I? I do not teach you. It is a really bad thing to do. It's a really bad decision to not have a budget. Personally, I know more people and they say, oh yeah, I've got a budget, but it's so loosey-goosey and fluffy around the edges, meaning they know their bills. But if I said to them, how much is your diesel for your car? How much are you spending on going for coffee? How much are you spending on your dog? How much are you spending on plants? They will not have that figure. If you're on a budget, you'll know these things. So please everybody, make the right choice. If you're not on a written budget, if you're not budgeting a unique budget every single month with your savings, with your sinking funds, with your discretionary spending and you're tracking it, this is the time to make those right choices and right decisions. Gonna get tough now. I really am. For the love of cheese and biscuits, will you stop the shopping? Me, all of us, we need to stop the shopping. Because whenever prices are high, we have that feeling of, well, if something's a bargain, I need to get it and I need to get more of it and I need to stockpile this. And I went shopping last week, or my last time I went shopping, and there were 2 for 1 on things like toiletries and things like toilet rolls were going for a bargain and so on and so forth. And at the time, I could have bought a lot more. But this is the thing that we need to, and you need to listen to this, and I need to listen to this, and we all need to put this action in our life. Is enough is enough. Because I could go to a garage sale, what you call a yard sale, or a garage sale, we call a vide grenier, or a car boot sale. I could go to one every week. I could be buying plants for my garden every week because they're cheap there. I could be going to charity shops every single week and buying more clothes and buying more stuff for my house. And you could do, and like I said, for the love of cheese and biscuits, would you stop the shopping? Enough is enough. And this is where you need to get really savvy and organised and check your own behaviours about this one. You really, really need to know you've got enough t-shirts. Go up there, count your t-shirts, count your pairs of shorts, count your pairs of trousers. Do you really need any more? Look around your house at the knick-knackery you've got around your house, of the pictures and the paintings and the bits and pieces and the plants in your garden. Do you have enough? Because enough is enough. And this is where the drip, drip, drip of money goes. And right now, we need to be prioritising savings for those extra bills and that long winter that's going to come ahead and those increase in energy prices, because they're not going down, are they? You noticed that. Wholesale prices of gas and so on and so forth have drastically dropped. And yes, energy prices might be coming down, but they are not going back to where they were. They never do. Food prices are coming down. They never go back to where they were. Even things in charity shops and car boot sales and vide greniers and brocants and all that stuff, not as cheap as it used to be. So like I said, for the love of all things fluffy and pretty, stop the shopping. You don't need it. You've got enough of it. Just stop it. Crazy choice, isn't it? But make the right choices, not the wrong ones. All tough stuff coming up, I'm afraid. Just like the title says, you're not that busy. If you've got time to sit here watching me now, or you're scrolling through TikTok, or you're looking at stuff on Pinterest, or you're scrolling through Instagram, or you're bickering with people over thin air on Facebook, you're not that busy. So let's be real about this. In many, many cases, when we are spending money in the name of, oh, well, I'm just so busy, actually, it's poor scheduling and poor planning. And I know because I've been there. Hands up, I have been there. So let's look at the things that we are disorganised about. We know, like I've said earlier, there are more people who do not plan their meals, who do not plan their menu, than there are people who do. So in the main, people don't, and they get disorganised about this. And then they've got stuff in the fridge that they don't know what's there, or stuff in the cupboard that they don't know what's there. They are disorganised, they don't stock check, they're not keeping things. So stop blaming your disorganisation, your lack of planning and your lack of schedule and calling it business. I'm just so busy, I can't do these things. Be honest with yourself. You get organised and you meal prep. You get organised and you menu plan. You get organised and you stock check. And that's not just food. That's the things that you have in your house. It's the tools in your tool shed. It's the paint you've got in the basement. It's the DIY materials you've got. It's the chainsaw that needs sharpening. It's the strimmer that needs the upkeep. It's the lawnmower that all through the winter when you're not using it, you need to keep dry and clean and start it up every now and again and run it up and keep things in good order. It's checking on your craft supplies. It's all of those things. It's maintaining an inventory of what you've got. Your kids' toys, rotating them, making sure you're selling the stuff that they don't need anymore. And really importantly with food, rotating your stock. Because if you're like me, you are building up a supply of long-term food, but it's really important to use it on a rotational basis. You don't need 3-year-old rice. If you've got rice in there that's more than a year old, you don't need to buy any more. So stop using busyness as an excuse. It's a really bad choice. And start making the right choices about organising your schedule. If you'd like to see some more videos about organisation and scheduling to save money, leave me a comment below. Or do you have a cleaning schedule? Do you have a budgeting schedule? Do you have something in your life that you can share with others that does save you money? So again, make the right choices and stop blaming being busy. It's costing you too much money. The next thing is all about those choices, either good decisions or bad decisions that we make around our social group, our social network and our peer group. And that can include family as well. Because a lot of people will say things to me about how they have to do things with their family or keep up to other people's financial brackets or where other people live in their finances. And if that's not your finances, here is something that you can say every single time. That's not in my budget. Or I don't have a budget for that. Or you could equally say, I don't have that in my budget now, but I might put that in my budget for later and put a sinking fund and savings for that. You do not have to keep up with everybody. You do not have to go to every wedding. You do not have to go to every do. And there were many occasions where we were on our debt repayment journey and paying off our mortgage journey and saving money journey that we often said no. And we would say, it's not in my budget. We do not have to do that. And I know people will say things like, well, what if you have to go to a graduation? What if you had to go to a wedding? Or what if you had to go to a retirement party? Do you know what? If that was the random situation I needed to do something, I would go to a charity shop, and it's often the nicer, fancier things that really have had no wear, and I could put myself together a really cheap, nice outfit. I could buy Mike a nice new shirt. He could just wear a pair of smart trousers. It's not a big expense, but you know, it's absolutely okay to say, I'm not going to go to a stag do in Prague. I'm not going with you on a hen do to Seville. I'm sorry. It is not in my budget to go to your wedding in the Seychelles. It's not in my budget. It's not in my budget to go with you on a girls' do to wherever you're going to go. It's not in my budget, and it's absolutely okay to say that. Because let's remember this, you don't have to keep up with the Joneses because they are in debt. They make the bad decisions. They've made the bad choices. You don't have to join in with it. It's very easy to make bad choices, the wrong choices, the choices that are going to wreck your budget, the choices that are not going to help you in the long term, when everyone else around us is making the wrong choices and the wrong decisions. Now, when we talk about wrong choices and wrong decisions, we're not talking about bad people here. We're talking about people who have good intentions and maybe put things off because things are going to get cheaper or things are going to get better, and it's not looking like that. So well done to every single one of you who are making tough, adult good choices all of the time. You're making the good choices to save for your retirement. You're making good choices to save a little bit into sinking funds or to save to an emergency fund. You're making good choices that enough is enough and you don't need to buy anymore. You're making good choices to rotate your stock in your house and make sure that you're keeping an inventory of your long-term pantry staples. You're making good choices and being able to say confidently to people, that's not in my budget. I may not do it this time, but I might do it in the future. Well done to every single one of you, because it's getting harder and harder, isn't it, to make those choices and to make those decisions, but it's always the right choice to do the right thing. Thank you so much to everybody who watches. I would just say how much we appreciate all of your comments. We really appreciate the time that you take to leave a comment. And we just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's sharing this thrifty, frugal and money saving life with all of us. And many of you regularly comment and regularly watch, and we genuinely appreciate that. And to everybody who's here for the first time, taking that first step to save money, we just want to encourage you to make those right choices and good decisions, and really, really wish you well. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye for now.